What socially unacceptable behavior should be considered acceptable? Going to a kids movie alone, as an adult. I love the How to Train Your Dragon movies, and I'm self-employed. I went along to a random afternoon showing of the third one, and got so many strange looks in the cinema. Luckily I'm fairly thick-skinned and ignored it, but it could really have ruined things for me. I accidentally saw Matilda _ didn't realize I was in the wrong screen until after the other movie had started. I regretted nothing. It was lots of fun. I feel like Disney movies are the exception. My fiancée and I regularly go see Disney movies even in our mid-20s, and honestly the live-action Disney trend feels more marketed toward adults than this generation of children. I just watched Detective Pikachu by myself, and I was as giddy as a child the whole time. Giving money as a present instead of gift cards. This might be a culture thing. In a lot of Asian countries giving money outright as a gift is fairly common, i.e. Chinese New Year at envelopes, cash gifts at weddings. I think sometimes the intention is to give someone who maybe hasn't got much money a guilt-free way to buy something they want. Most of the time, when I get money, it just goes on bills or other mundane expenses, and while helpful, it's not exactly exciting. I have a mountain of gift cards in my house to places I don't go to normally. Money is better. Talking back to elders. Sometimes they're the one who are in the wrong or personally attacking you, and it's just that you take a stand or fight your point. There is a difference between responding to someone's mistakes effectively and speaking with condescending anger to convey the message shut up without using those exact words. Everyone needs encouragement to clarify their good intentions sometimes. Speech without good intentions falls under the rule. If you can't say something nice, don't say anything. You can contend that you are president of the US and somebody else is threatening war and it's your job to say things that are not nice. But the president of Iran has already demonstrated that you can say what needs to be said without proudly deriding others to gratify the base impulses. You should be able to flat out say no to plans without having a valid reason. The same sort of goes for accepting or refusing help, money, etc. when someone insists. My rule for this has always been, on the receiving end, if someone offers to pay for something, help to give whatever answer I feel, and then give them one opportunity to revoke their offer. For example, if someone offers to cover the meal, I could say, that's sweet of you, thank you. Are you sure you wouldn't rather split it? If they again say that they'd like to cover the meal, then the conversation is done. I hate the forks polite back and forth. I had a guy in my youth group try to insist I take $200 from him to get my phone fixed. Ed mentioned not having the money, we were 15 to 17, and I didn't have a job yet, and he took it upon himself to give me some. He just couldn't understand why I kept refusing. He was homeschooled his entire life and very socially awkward. While he had some nice guy in him, I'm pretty sure he also just thought friends just tossed around $200. Refusing to babysit your siblings, kids or cousins, any family really. I loved babysitting my nephews, so I always said yes, but my sister always offered me money and didn't assume I was available. I would hate it if people just expected me to do it for free and at the last minute. My sister loves taking my daughter, but she refuses money, so every month I go out and buy her things she needs or wants from Costco. She doesn't have a membership and use that as payment, so I don't feel so guilty. My dad married a woman much younger than him that had small children. They would come over for a visit and all of a sudden they are gone, but left the 3 small kids there without saying a word. Did not care if I had plans or had to go to work, just left the 3 unruly kids there. No diapers left for the 2-year-old. I would never dream of doing that to anyone, and especially not to my children. Not talking. I dislike that, it's considered rude. Most everyone has moments when they just wanna chill and just observe without having to make conversation constantly. I hate when people feel the need to fill every silence with meaningless small talk. I'd rather concentrate and work silently than talk to just to talk. There's a saying about only talking when it improves upon the silence. That's pretty much how I operate. I've met the owner of my company twice, both very short interactions, 10 seconds tops. Enough for hi, how are you, I'm so and so, nice to meet you. My supervisor told me the owner thinks I'm too quiet, and my supervisor had to defend me. Just because I don't stand around chatting all day doesn't mean I'm rude or slow. I wish people would realize not all hours need to be spent talking. It was kind, if jarring, that the owner would make those kind of statements based off such a short interaction. Kind of hurt. Dads taking care of their kids without people thinking he's just babysitting. Harvesting the organs immediately after someone has died. Having your elbows on the table while eating. I don't even know if that's a universal thing, but it's considered bad behavior where I'm from. Same here. I never understood why, though. I just know it's an etiquette thing and I never do it. It apparently goes back to sailors putting their elbows on the table to stop their bowl sliding when at sea. When they were back on shore, sailors not being the most respected or nicest of lads at the time, the other town folk thought it was uncouth, so it was considered bad manners. That's a good story, but I think it's more of a practical reason. It's supposed to help you learn to sit up straight and proper at the dinner table. If you put your elbows on the table, you're more apt to hunch over your bowl and sort of shovel your food in. If you sit up, you'll eat slower and be more social. For kids, this would be an especially important habit to learn. Turning your phone off and leaving it that way all day because you don't feel like communicating with anyone. Mom, where the f were you piece of shit? You know how much I worried about you. Me ugh, I was tired. Mom, tell me you're gonna sleep, you uncultured swine. Me, okay, can I hang up now? Mom hubbard me, yes. Thanks, I'll sleep now. Declining to do volunteering charity. It's not for everybody, and it doesn't necessarily make you a terrible person for not getting involved. As an animal shelter volunteer, I 100% agree that it's not for everyone. I'd rather the people who try out of societal obligation stay away, as they're not at all passionate enough about what we do to get through the gritty stuff. And no, Ben, I'm not sponsoring you to run or bike or climb a mountain. Do that on your own time. I pay my ridiculous UK social taxes to help the poor. I'm not sponsoring a cat for you. How about a hedgehog? Will you at least sponsor a hedgehog? There's a nice packet of wagon wheels enough for you. I'd take the hedgehog even without the wagon wheels. Cocoa allergy. Eating alone. I'm tired of people looking at me like I'm a serial killer when I tell them table for one please. I rather enjoy a table for one at a restaurant. Maybe even go see a movie by myself after. And if you see movies alone, every time you get movie tickets for free you get to watch 2 of them. It's actually kind of insane that liking your own company is seen as a weird trait in society. I'm very introverted, and I love doing things on my own. The amount of times people have called me weird, awkward, or asked if I was a loner is insane. No, I have friends that I love, and I'm pretty normal. I really enjoy doing things on my own, and on my own time. Just tell them table for 2 and act all sad about halfway through the meal. They might feel bad and give you a discount. Breastfeeding in public. I'm a man, but I never understood why this is such an issue. Mostly a problem in the US. Europe, as far as I know, is mostly fine with it. Here in Germany I have never heard anyone complain. I totally agree with you, but also it's just a tad uncomfortable to see happen. I would never want to ban it anywhere, but I can understand where it's a tad bit off-putting, if that makes sense. I understand that fundamentally it's just a baby getting the food him/her needs, and nobody should stand in the way of that. What makes it uncomfortable, off-putting? This is a genuine question. I'm not going to try to debunk your opinion or make you defend it. See, the best way to avoid feeling uncomfortable is to not look at the woman while she's feeding. Having a woman pay for a date. Or split 50-50 regardless of who suggests the date. Or split 50-50 regardless of who suggests the date. I wish women would go for that. Find the right women. Plenty do. It's 2019. Are there still people who believe this is unacceptable? Lots of guys take it as a sign you're uninterested if you try to pay. My partner thought that meant I wanted to leave, didn't like him, and wouldn't see him a second time. That's just plain weird. It's called being fair to offer to pay half. Taking as much time off from work, school, whatever, to deal with your physical and mental health problems. Yes. My stress levels are through the roof. I can't sleep. My depression is very bad. And I'm having constant anxiety attacks. I've lost 3 very close relatives in 15 months, mom, brother, grandfather, and I just wish I could take time and just get straightened out. I feel like I'm about to snap. Men holding hands, gassing each other up, and being intimate in the way women friends usually are. What's gassing each other up mean? It means giving excessive praise. I always do this, why my friends hahaha, I don't know if it's a social taboo or not, but yeah. Just go to Alabama and say he's your brother. That's not solving anything, but making it more complicated. Men commonly do hold hands in Arab cultures. Just walking away from a social situation you no longer want to be a part of. Maybe with an announcement, but yes, you are right. No, see, that's the problem. When you tell people you're leaving, they often confront you about it or try to convince you to stay. If you don't give a reason that seems valid to them, they insist until you break down. It's intensely irritating, especially when I have a reason that I don't want to talk about. Maybe you're right and I'm wrong, but I think when they tried to convince you otherwise, then you have a solid reason to just go because you made it clear in the first place. I don't know, in the end it depends how convinced you are of your own opinion. I think if you can live with this, then okay, but it would be too strange for me. Just loudly proclaim I'm bored, like a medieval herald. Walk away. Conversation over and you never have to worry about them starting another. Having your own opinion on things. Where politics is concerned, your own opinion is absolutely fine, so long as it's shared by the majority of other people. Have mind. Head scratching. People assume I have lice, but I'm just balding really fast and it itches. The itchy and scratchy show 8. Licking the smoothie from my mustache instead of wiping with a napkin. If men can walk around shirtless, the women walking around in sports bras should be okay as well. If men can walk around shirtless, women should be able to as well. Not saying bless you when someone sneezes, I'm sorry, but I don't feel sneezing is a reason to bless anyone, and I refuse to participate in this practice. Call me a Scrooge, so be it. See, here in Finland we don't bless you for sneezing, we just say for health. Same roots behind both expressions, but I like ours more. What's that in Finnish? I bet it sounds cool. Terveydeksi, the translative singular form of terveys, health. You can bet there are long strings of vowels together. It's probably from the German Gesundheit. Wikipedia has a cool list of these in different languages. Being alone in public, specifically eating alone. Yeah, and to a lesser extent, going to the movies alone. I actually prefer it. Wearing a small mouth mask if you are sick or are coughing, so you don't spread the disease. I've never seen people get mad at this, but also the only people I've seen wear masks are people from other countries. PJ pants in public. Who, exactly, am I hurting if I choose to go out in my comfy pants? You know, I know you're right about this. Last weekend I was at the supermarket and I saw a grown man turn up literally in his PJs, tops and bottoms, white flannel with little blue ships on, no shoes, mid-afternoon. I really, honestly thought this was strange. I don't see this an awful lot. Social norms can be very rigid, but, hey, rock it out. I sometimes pop to the shop without a bra on, and I'm not exactly nubile, so I strongly support any type of pants in public. I live right behind the grocery store in my neighborhood. I'm always going there in my pajamas. I dress up for my job, so when I'm off the clock, I don't really care what people think. People overreact about staring, like you look at them for 1 second, and they respond with what are you looking at, or stop staring creep, as well as pointing, like how else am I supposed to show? People get upset about pointing. How are you pointing? With his middle finger, presumably. I hate pointing, especially when it's aimed at me. If they are pointing at an inanimate object, fine. But pointy fingers invade my space and make me feel poked. Protesting for this generation. And the next one writes. Lifting up your bra strap when it falls down. You always get so many weird looks. I know it sounds weird, but I've never understood why it's acceptable to walk around in your bathing suit in like a beach town during the summer, but not to walk around in your underwear. They're the same thing essentially, just different fabrics. Not saying I would walk around in my underwear. I don't even walk around in my bathing suit at the beach. I just never understood it. Social context and the fabric itself matters. If underwear was the same thickness and had the same sense of security as bathing suits, it would be the same. But we call underwear delicates for a reason. You really don't understand the difference in underwear and swimwear. Crying. For God's sakes, it makes you feel so much better to just have a good cry. Wash those accumulate bad chemicals out of your head already. Don't even go hide. Just rinse your brain right there, and you'll feel so much better than if you hold it all in for decades. Saying no to family simply because you don't want to, it shouldn't be embarrassing, and you shouldn't be pressured into saying yes just because it's family. Had a recent huge argument with mine because they invited my uncle's family to come with us on vacation because they asked us to tell them if we happened to go on vacation again, and so my mom felt obligated to say yes even though me and my brothers never agreed for them to come. Breastfeeding babies in public. As long as you have a blanket or towel over yourself, there should be nothing wrong with it. Babies need to feed when they're hungry. I never understood how someone breastfeeding while covered could possibly make anyone uncomfortable. And even if they're not covered, it's not like anyone has to look. Telling people that it's nothing personal, but you just don't want to talk them. Yes, there are nice people who I try to avoid talking to because whenever I do, I know I'm in for a 30 to 45 minute conversation because they do anything and everything possible to keep the conversation going. I wish there was a polite way to say, Bill, does this story have a point to it? Or hey, I have things I need to do. Can you sum this up in 3 or 4 sentences? Just the key points. I don't need all the extra background info. It's so frustrating because people take it so personally. I'd like to talk to you, but not right now.